All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Akakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. And today I just want to go into, a couple of news articles, that were going on today. And bring out a couple of scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. Then this first article I want to go to, it says 7 bodies found on Henrietta property amid search for two missing teenagers. Lucky.
We start with that breaking news.
And it's lucky. Any news clip that I feature, I am using for fair use purposes only.
We start with that breaking news. Investigators have found the bodies of 7 people on an Oklahoma property. The identities have not been confirmed at this hour. However, 2 of them are believed to be a pair of teenagers who went missing overnight. We appreciate you joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Jessica Shambach.
I'm Evan Onstadt. Good evening to you. We have KOCO's Abigail Ogle joining us in studio as well. Abby, another one of those bodies we're told is likely the person of interest in these girls' disappearance.
Just a horrific scene, and certainly not the update that we wanted to report when we first told you about this. This all started as an endangered alert for 14-year-old Ivy Webster and 16-year-old Brittany Brewer. They were last seen just after 1 a.m. overnight and into this morning. We're told that the girls were having a sleepover with a friend. That friend's stepfather, Jesse McFadden, is the main suspect in this investigation. He was actually supposed to be in court today for child pornography and soliciting a minor. We've been looking into this. He also has a criminal history, rape convictions, and larceny. Several agencies, including OSBI and the medical examiner, were at that property in Henrietta for hours. Just after 4 o'clock today, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol canceled the alert that they initially sent out. Again, the ME will officially determine the victim's identity. Investigators have not confirmed that this is Ivy and Brittany, but it is believed to be that the missing girls were found there along with the suspect, Jesse McFadden, and 4 other people who have still yet to be identified. 7 bodies in total. The medical examiner will determine all of their identities.
So I'll read a little bit of it. It says on Monday, an endangered missing advisory was issued by officials for 14-year-old Ivy Webster and 16-year-old Brittany Brewer. The alert stated that authorities believe that the 2 were with 39-year-old Jesse McFadden. Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office officials confirmed that 7 bodies were found on a property in Henrietta. The bodies are believed to be of the 2 missing teenagers, McFadden and 4 others. Authorities are working to identify the bodies online. Well, pretty much, going into the same thing. This the guy. That pretty much murdered those people. Let me go to another article. It's from the Los Angeles Times, and it says mass shooting leaves 3 women and 1 man dead in the Mojave Desert as detectives search for answers. It says Tina Hayden took in the scene a dirt lot, mounds of scrap metal and trash, a trailer of 2 decaying recreational vehicles, inside of which 3 women and a man had been shot to death 12 hours earlier. Slovakia. They're all on crystal meth, Hayden said. This is all a part of drugs, sad to say. Hayden had to come Monday morning to the end of H Street in the Mojave to see the place where her friend's daughter had been killed. Kern County Sheriff's deputies had been called to the barren property Around 11:20 p.m. Sunday, inside an RV, they found 4 people shot, and it's lucky a man and 2 women who were already dead, and a third woman who would die at the hospital, said Lori Mesa, a spokesperson for the sheriff's office. The victims were not identified Monday, apart from stating that they had not arrested anyone or found the gun used in the shooting. Law enforcement officials said little about the mass killing, which rattled the desert community about 60 miles east of Bakersfield. I don't even want my kids outside, Hayden said Monday morning. I kept my granddaughter home from school today. It says the killings come several months after a series of mass shootings that left California reeling. In the span of 2 weeks, 6 people were killed at a home in Goshen, California, 11 at a Monterey Park dance studio, and 6 on Half Moon Bay Farm. The incidents and others have heightened debates about gun control. About 20% of Mojave's 4,700 residents live below the poverty line, according to the census data. Most of its businesses are on the main drag, Highway 14, and cater to people who are only passing through gas stations and truck stops, fast food restaurants, and liquor stores, motor court style motels. So again, that's pretty much all I'm going to read from that. So yeah, 3 people or 4 people, were murdered in the Mojave Desert, I'm going to bring this one out as well. This is from the New York Times, and it says 6 dead after dust storm causes crashes on Interstate 55 in Illinois. Up to 80 vehicles were involved in the pileup. Crashes after a dust storm swept through central Illinois, the police said, forcing the closure of Interstate 55, a key artery in the region. I'll play this clip. That was a short clip of, the car pileup from the dust storm that swept
regulators,
Illinois. So, just bring out those couple articles. I'm going to bring out the scriptures now. Excuse me, Slucky. I'm going to start in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39 and verse 28. And it says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail, and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his law. It's like they shall not transgress his word. And yes, those 3 articles that I brought out, about those people being put to death, ultimately that was judgment from the Lord, and the way that they went out, those were spirits that created for vengeance, the 2 teenage girls that went missing, along with the total of 7 bodies that were found, on that man's property, along with the 4 people that were murdered in California in the Mojave Desert, and the 6 people that were killed in this car crash, due to this dust storm, that was, spirits that were poured out, those are spirits of vengeance, that the Lord sent out to judge those particular people, because it's pretty much the time that we're coming into, where the Lord is, visiting the world by way of judgment, and I'm going to bring that out as well. I'm going to go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 9. I'm going to start at verse 1, and it says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And yes, the Most High Yahweh is visiting the world, by way of these judgments and these plagues that he's pouring out upon the earth, In verse 3, and it says, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the beginning. Slakia. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is made, Slakia, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in the Slakia. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonder and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. And yes, these, are ultimately signs, that the Lord is pouring out, that these particular things, will happen. You have people, riding over in Paris, you also have, those locusts and roaches, over there in Saudi Arabia, by the Kaaba stone, these are plagues that are sent out, by the Lord, because he's getting ready to visit the world again, and he's starting out by way of these judgments that are, being brought forth upon the earth, people being put to death in various fashions, these particular plagues and pestilences, that are happening as well, and ultimately the Lord is going to visit the world again by way of our Lord Yahweh Shai when he returns, And we're going to go to the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 39, and it says, Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word, make ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he Slakia, let him sell it, let him that, Slakia. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise as he that hath no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. Now, yes, the point I want to bring out, verse 39, but, these plagues are being poured out upon the earth, and they're not slack, because ultimately, it's going to be a worldwide thing, where the Lord is going to, pour these particular plagues out, primarily here in America, aka Babylon the Great, It's lucky, bear with me. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. I'm going to start at verse 6, and it says, Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and our faces are turned into paleness? Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And yes, this is the time that's still vastly approaching, that's coming upon the planet Earth, very, very bad times are coming upon this earth. And these things that are taking place are just a prelude to it, You still have, people being put to death, in these various fashions. You have these, major retail stores closing all over the nation, so America is pretty much, gearing up, for these bad times because, during the, the C-19, that was pretty much, a test run for Esau Edom, just to see if people would comply. But when he does another lockdown, it's going to be the real thing this time, It's going to be extremely bad out here. So, I'm going to go to the book of Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 1, it says, At that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation even unto the same, or even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And again, the elect of the nation of Israel, because primarily, at this time, that's pretty much who this is about. The elect. Ultimately, it's about our Lord Yahweh Shai, receiving his glory upon the earth. But ultimately, during this particular time, it's about the elect being delivered from these calamities, these bad times that are coming, And as it said in Daniel, 12, it's going to be so bad out here that Michael the Archangel is going to have to step in, and help us on our behalf, Lord willing we be, of that number. But it's going to be extremely bad out here, So I'm going to go to the book of Revelation. Slucky. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 59 and verse 19, and it says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." And yes, again, also going into those bad times, because that's what Esau Edom is going to do. He's going to send in his stormtroopers to pretty much round up everyone that doesn't comply with his new world order, But a standard will be lifted, Certain members of the elect are going to receive spiritual power, That's that standard, that's going to be lifted, because again, all hell is going to break loose, and Esau Edom is going to be, like a madman. I want to bring that out as well. But he's going to be like a madman. He's pretty much going to unleash his fury upon the earth, because he knows that it's his last time to rule. This is second address 16, verse 71, and it says, "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord." And yes, that's what they want to do. They want to kill. Primarily they want to wipe out the nation of Israel, but they won't be able to. But ultimately their goal for this new world order is to, chip everyone. Then I'm going to end it on this. Revelation 12:12, and it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." And yes, that's the reason why a lot of these things are happening, why a lot of these, these judgments are being poured out, because Esau Edom is in rulership. Job 9:24, I could have brought that out, but the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So all these things are taking place, because righteousness has to be restored unto the earth. But before that can happen, these bad things have to happen in order for true order to be restored. So just something real quick, just wanted to bring out those articles that pretty much took place today, because again, May 1st is a very, very it's a high holy day on the left hand side for the elites. May 1st, May Day, if you will. It's also the start of the Bavarian Illuminati, May 1st, 1776 as well. But, just pretty much wanted to bring those scriptures out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Makakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, where I learned this truth from. And I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. To the next time I say Shalom.